My parents passed away when I was 17 and left me a huge inheritance. But my greedy stepfather tried to take it all from me. When I was 17, my world was turned upside down. My parents, the anchors of my life, passed away in a tragic accident, leaving me not only with an overwhelming sense of loss, but also with a substantial inheritance. They had worked tirelessly to ensure a secure future for me, never imagining that their sudden departure would set off a chain of events that would test my resilience and trust in humanity. As I grappled with my grief, another storm was brewing. My stepfather, who had married my mother when I was 10, began to reveal a side of himself that I had never seen before. He was supposed to be a figure of support and stability, but instead, he became the source of my new nightmare. His eyes gleamed with a greed that I hadn't noticed until it was too late. He saw my parents' legacy not as a safeguard for my future but as a prize to be seized, regardless of the cost to me. Before everything fell apart, life with my parents had been filled with love and warmth. My mother was a nurturing presence, always encouraging me to pursue my dreams, while my father instilled in me the values of hard work and integrity. We were a close-knit family, and even after my mother remarried, the bond between us remained strong. My stepfather, Robert, initially seemed like a decent man. He was charming and attentive, making an effort to blend into our family. However, looking back, there were subtle signs that Robert's intentions weren't entirely pure. He often made offhand comments about my parents' wealth and seemed overly interested in their financial affairs. At the time, I brushed it off as curiosity or a desire to be involved, never suspecting the depth of his true motives. It wasn't until after my parents' death that his facade began to crack, revealing a man driven by greed and a ruthless ambition to claim what wasn't his. When my parents' will was read, I learned just how much they had left for me. The inheritance included a sizable sum of money, our family home, and several valuable assets. They had planned meticulously, ensuring that everything was in order to provide me with a secure future. There were clear instructions in the will, stipulating that the inheritance was to be managed by a trusted family lawyer until I turned 21. Robert, however, was visibly displeased with this arrangement. He had assumed that, as my legal guardian, he would have immediate access to the funds. The lawyer explained that the will was airtight, leaving no room for reinterpretation or contest. But Robert wasn't one to give up easily. I noticed him becoming more agitated and frustrated, often muttering under his breath about the unfairness of the situation. It was then that I realized just how far he might go to get what he wanted. It wasn't long before Robert's agitation turned into outright hostility. I remember the first significant incident vividly. He barged into my room late one night, reeking of alcohol, and demanded that I sign over control of the inheritance to him. His eyes were wild, and his voice carried a threatening edge that I had never heard before. I refused, terrified but determined to stand my ground. The next day, he acted as if nothing had happened, but the atmosphere in the house had changed. He began subtly undermining me, questioning my decisions, and trying to convince me that I was incapable of handling the responsibility that came with the inheritance. He started intercepting my mail, cutting me off from friends and isolating me. It was a slow, insidious process that eroded my confidence and left me feeling increasingly vulnerable and alone. The tension reached a breaking point one evening when Robert confronted me in the living room. He accused me of being ungrateful and selfish, claiming that I had no idea how to manage such a large inheritance. He insisted that he was only looking out for my best interests and that I should trust him to handle the money. When I refused again, he flew into a rage, smashing a vase and shouting that I was making a huge mistake. This incident was a wake-up call. I realized that Robert was not going to stop until he got what he wanted. I needed to take action to protect myself and my parents' legacy. I contacted our family lawyer, who advised me to document everything and be prepared for a legal battle. It was the first time I felt a glimmer of hope, knowing that I had someone on my side who understood the gravity of the situation and was willing to fight for me. Robert was relentless. He began to challenge the terms of the will, claiming that it was invalid due to some obscure technicalities. He hired a lawyer of his own, and before I knew it, we were embroiled in a complex legal battle. Court dates, legal fees, and endless paperwork became my new reality. Each day felt like a test of my endurance, as Robert's lawyer tried to paint me as an irresponsible teenager who needed a guardian to manage my affairs. Despite the mounting pressure, I refused to back down. Our family lawyer was a steadfast ally, countering every move Robert made and ensuring that my parents' wishes were honored. There were moments of doubt, times when the stress and fear of losing everything seemed too much to bear. But I drew strength from the memories of my parents and the life they had worked so hard to build for me. Their legacy was worth fighting for, no matter the cost. During this tumultuous period, I found solace and strength in an unexpected support network. My aunt, my mother's sister, reached out to offer her help. She had always been a steady presence in my life, and now she became my rock. She moved in with me temporarily, providing emotional support and a sense of stability that had been missing since my parents' death. Additionally, a few close friends rallied around me. They listened to my fears, helped me stay organized, and reminded me that I wasn't alone in this fight. Their unwavering support was invaluable, helping me to maintain my resolve. The family lawyer also played a crucial role, not just as a legal advisor, but as a mentor, guiding me through the complexities of the legal system and teaching me to stand up for myself. This network of support became my shield against Robert's relentless greed, empowering me to keep pushing forward. Despite the support, the ordeal took a heavy toll on me. The constant stress and fear of losing everything made it hard to focus on anything else. My grades started slipping, and I found it difficult to concentrate on schoolwork. Sleep became elusive, as my nights were filled with anxiety and worry about what Robert might do next. Emotionally, I was a wreck. I felt betrayed by someone who was supposed to be family, and the grief of losing my parents was compounded by the ongoing battle over their legacy. There were days when I felt completely overwhelmed, questioning whether I had the strength to keep fighting. The weight of the situation sometimes felt unbearable, but each morning I forced myself to get up and face the challenges head-on, driven by a determination to honor my parents' memory and secure the future they had envisioned for me. The turning point came unexpectedly. During one of the court hearings, new evidence surfaced. An old family friend came forward with crucial information. He had witnessed Robert coercing my mother into altering some documents months before the accident. His testimony painted a clear picture of Robert's manipulative nature and intent to control the inheritance. This revelation was a game-changer. It not only discredited Robert's claims but also galvanized my resolve. For the first time, I felt like I had the upper hand. The court took this new evidence seriously, and Robert's credibility took a significant hit. The momentum began to shift in my favor, and I sensed a renewed hope that justice would prevail. With the weight of evidence against him, Robert's legal battle quickly faltered. His attempts to manipulate the situation were exposed, and the court ruled in my favor. The terms of my parents' will were upheld, and I regained full control over the inheritance. It was a bittersweet victory, marked by relief and a sense of justice finally served. Robert's demeanor changed dramatically after the court's decision. He retreated from the legal proceedings, his initial fury replaced by a defeated resignation. It became clear that his greed had not only cost him the inheritance he coveted but also damaged relationships irreparably. He left our lives quietly, a stark contrast to the turbulence he had caused. In the aftermath, I focused on rebuilding my life and honoring my parents' legacy. The legal battle had left scars, but I emerged stronger and more resilient. I completed my education with renewed determination, guided by the values instilled in me by my parents. Their memory became a source of inspiration rather than pain, reminding me of their love and unwavering support. My relationship with my aunt and friends grew even stronger through adversity. Their steadfast support had been my anchor during the storm, and I cherished their presence in my life. With their help, I navigated the complexities of managing the inheritance responsibly, ensuring that it would serve as a foundation for my future, just as my parents had intended. Looking back, I've learned valuable lessons about trust, resilience, and the importance of standing up for what's right. The experience taught me that challenges can reveal both the worst and the best in people, and that true strength lies in holding onto one's principles in the face of adversity. While the scars of that chapter remain, they serve as a reminder of my ability to overcome and thrive, guided by the enduring love and legacy of my parents.